Hello everyone, my name is Methodius Indra Balimema. I come from class E. I am from the English major, want to present an understanding of microlinguistic. Let's just start right away. Microlinguistic, or also known as microlinguistic, is a branch of linguistics that focuses on the content of the internal system of language. This study leads to the internal structure of a particular language and oral language in general. Phonology, a sub-discipline of language that studies the sound of language in general, both sounds that care about meaning or not phonemic. According to Thayer, phonology is the knowledge of the vocabulary of language sounds and their distribution. Phonology is defined as the study of language that studies language sounds produced by human speak tools. The field of phonology studies is the sound of language as the smallest unit of speech with a combination of sound that form syllables. Okay, next, morphology, a sub-discipline of language that cover words and groups of words. Morphology also includes investigating the structure of words, their paths, and the way in which they are formed. Defines morphology as a branch of language that identifies the basic units of language and grammatical units. Morphology studies the intricacies of words form and the effects of word form changes on word classes and meaning. Or in the other word, it can be said that morphology studies the intricacies of word form and the function of words form changes. Both grammatical and semantic function. In morphology, there is a morpheme, which is the smallest part of word. Okay, continue next about synthesis. The science of the principles and rules for making sentences in their natural units. Synthesis also investigates word units and other units above words, their relationship to its author and how they are adjusted. Formation of complex symbols from simpler symbols and programming the particle of symbol by communities in certain contexts. That syntax is a branch of language that talks about words in relation to other words or other elements as a unit of speech. In syntax that is usually discussed its syntax structure, including problem of foundation, category syntax rule. Syntax units in the form of phrases, sentence, and distresses. Now I am going to explain about macrolinguistic. So let's get started. Macrolinguistic, the branch of linguistics that deals with language and related extralingual phenomena as a whole, sometimes physical, the statistic analysis of large linguistic phenomena. Contrast to microlinguistic, macrolinguistic examines the relationship of language at the level of the external world, scientific discipline. Therefore, macrolinguistic, other fields such as economic and history language, its asset a tool to see language from an outside point of view. Social linguistic, an interdisciplinary study that studies the relationship and or influence of culture on the way a language is assessed. In this case, language is closely related to social, cultural of the people of a region as the subject or actor of language as a means of communication and interaction between groups with one another. Next, physical linguistics, an interdisciplinary study that examines the relationship between language and mental, including how humans acquire and as language itself. Hurley argues that psychology linguistics is the study of mental process in language as before using language. Language speaker must first acquire the language. Next, stylistic students that study the language asset in literary forms. So, stylistic is an interdisciplinary science between linguistics and literature. So that was an explanation of microlinguistic and macrolinguistic. So now I will explain in my opinion and ideas about what is the linguistic. So linguistic is the science of language that study the internal structure and external structure of linguistic. That linguistic consists of a system of word form, semantic, or the meaning of words and discourse. By studying this internal system, we will be better able to explain the language and be able to understanding its besides that language can also be used to study the social relation factory of sociality. Well, and its purpose is the most from language its human life. Next, classification linguistic is the science of language or scientific study of human language. Language is also often called general language because Linguists does not only study a language such as Japanese, but also study language in general. General linguistics is language that studies the rules of language in general, not specific language. Special rules, specific learning, Arabic, Sudanese. This special study can also family, for example, the Austronesian language family or the Indo-German subfamily. Phonology is a part of linguistics that studies sound system, sound rules, and how to produce them. Language sounds are sounds that are formed by three factors, namely breathing as a source of energy, speak tools which cause vibration, and vibration changing creativities. Phonology can be divided into phonetic and phonemic. Phonetics or phonemics is part of science in linguistics that studies of investigation, saying that sound foundation as a differentiator of meaning in language is the study or analysis of language sound by paying attention to its status as a differentiator or meaning. The sound of language spoken by humans will have a different meaning in each sound of the language. The object of study of phonemic is phonemes is contrast the object of phonics studies that studies phone. Is a branch of linguistics that deals with the internal structure of sentence. The internal phrases, clauses, and sentences. So phrases are the smallest object of syntax study, and sentences are the largest object of syntax study. So many of my presentation, I beg if there is a narrative of my language that is wrong, please the governor, thank you for